Should you join the Army Reserves in 2026? Here's the answer that most recruiters won't tell you. It depends. If you want to join the Army or are seriously considering it, then yes, the Reserves might be right for you. But if you don't want to join the Army, then no. Full stop. Not for you. This video is not some hype pitch. It is a filter. And by the end of it, you should know whether or not the Army Reserves is right for you, or if you should simply walk away from it now. Okay, so quick bit of context here. I am merely talking about the Army Reserves. I'm not talking about active duty. I'm not talking about the Guard. Though a lot of what I say could be applicable and probably is applicable to both, I want you to know that this is coming from the lens of the Reserve. There's different missions, different trade-offs, and different expectations. So I just want to make that very clear up front. This is coming from the perspective of the Army Reserves. Okay, so right around this time of year, everybody's saying new year, new me, and it seems like the Army's saying that as well, because with 2026, there's a few changes that you should be aware of while making your decision. First is the grooming and appearance standards. They've updated, and more importantly, they're being enforced. That means that your haircuts matter, your uniform matters. Just looking squared away in general matters. So if you're someone that wants flexibility with standards, this will probably frustrate you. And this may not be your calling. The second update for this year is fitness. To be quite blunt, the standard's now higher and enforcement is now tighter. The AFT is going to happen often. Height and weight standards will be enforced, and not just for the lowest enlisted, but for every soldier throughout the ranks. Now, I don't care what your political opinion is on that. The fact of the matter is, it's a change, it's happened, and it's being enforced in 2026. So if you're already skating by physically, this new year will not be forgiving. It'll be a challenge. And that's something that you should consider with whether or not you should join. Okay, so with those two major changes out the way, and I'm sure there's more, let's dive into who the Army Reserves is for. The Reserves makes a whole lot of sense if you're someone that falls in one of these categories. That you genuinely want to serve. That you want structure but without the full commitment of active duty. That you want an extra paycheck. That you're looking for healthcare. That you want educational benefits. Or if you're simply just looking for some sense of adventure. Now, this works well for those who have just graduated high school, college kids, law students, people who are early in their careers, or just professionals who want benefits, purpose, and experience. But with all those categories I said, it's important to note, you get all that, but you gotta do the job. So, at the end of the day, the Reserves is for someone that is willing to answer the call of duty when their country needs them. From the simplest mission to the most serious. Okay, so now that we've been clear about who this might be suited for, let us be clear for who this is not suited for. The Army Reserves is not suited for someone who is not willing to show up prepared. If you don't want to go to drill, if you don't want to put in the time and effort to maintain your fitness standards or to maintain your warrior task and battle drills, that if you're just wanting to skate by and barely show up, this probably isn't the field for you, because you might end up getting in trouble yourself and potentially having something go on your record. In a similar vein, this career path, the Reserves, is not for someone who cannot follow the rules. I cannot tell you how many times we've had to kick people out because they think that they're not active duty, that they, on their own private time, can do illegal drugs. I don't care what your stance is on marijuana or any other illegal substance. The fact of the matter is, it's illegal and you can't do it. So if you're someone that can't follow rules or think that they don't apply to you, do yourself a favor, don't join, because you're going to get something put on your record. And we don't want that. It's not helping you out. It's not helping anyone out. It just gives me more work to do. And to be quite frank, I don't want to do that. So do everyone a favor and just don't join. And the other one that comes to mind is the Reserves is not for someone who's in the middle of some emotional crisis or emotional spiral. I'm thinking right now about someone that's had a death in the family or a recent breakup, and they're just trying to mix it up and get out of town. Yes, this could work, but you're often not thinking clearly. So this isn't something that writes you off completely, because we all go through different experiences, not all of them positive. Quite a few things can be negative. However, if you are going through a negative experience right now, I encourage you to stop, take a second, and think about what you're doing before you do it. Because once you sign that dotted line, you've signed yourself to a 6-year commitment. It's no short period of time. So, if you're going through an emotional crisis right now or an emotional turmoil, stop, take a breath, and actually think about your next steps carefully. Okay, so the big question answered. 2026, should I join? Here's my hot take. This might be unpopular, but I don't care because it's true in my opinion. The year doesn't matter. It could be 2024, 2025, 2027. It simply doesn't matter. The institution of the reserves doesn't change because it's just a different year. And barring some unforeseeable global event that's happening, my answer is going to be the same because the institution itself is the same. So regardless of what year it is, I believe this advice applies. And it's something that you should consider. So even if you're watching this in the future, 27, 28, 29, take what I've said here and consider it. At the end of the day, what matters is your motivation, your discipline, and your willingness to be held to a standard. And if you're looking for some excuse, a change in the year isn't going to save you. So regardless of the year, here's the reality of the reserves. The reserves is what you make out of it. Yes, you can go for your 1 week in a month and 2 weeks out of the year, and that's it. And you know what? That's okay. But if you want more out of the reserves, there are so many other opportunities out there. You can volunteer to go on missions. You can volunteer for mobilizations, deployments, go AGR. You can go to schools. You can do so many other things out there and really tailor this experience, tailor the reserves to what you want, so long as you put in the effort and so long as you're willing to change and adapt. And this allows you to build a resume that actually means something, that a resume that you can look back at and see just not another job that you worked, but something that you feel fulfilled by, something that you get a sense of accomplishment because you can remember back to that and say, wow, that was hard, but I did it and it was rewarding. And I have these memories and I've made these friends and I can point back to that and say with pride that I did it. So at the end of the day, the ceiling in the reserves is so high. And if you push, you can reach it. But if you simply just coast, you'll get out of it exactly what you put in. So if you're thinking about joining the Army Reserves in 2026, here's what you need to remember. The year doesn't matter. Your intent does. And if your intent includes law school or a legal career, then don't stop here. Go watch my video on how the Army can kickstart your legal career, especially if you're just coming out of high school or early into college. That's where the real leverage is.